Tonight, the California Alumni Association is proud to honor Robert Haas as the 2009 Alumnus of the Year.
As a youngster, I tagged along with my father to many Cal sporting events. So by the time I enrolled at Cal as a freshman, I felt like I was coming back to a very, very familiar place. Of course, I applied to a number of different schools, got in, but in the end, Cal provided everything I was looking for: first-rate education and a lot of life-expanding experiences.
Although Bob Haas is a fourth-generation Cal legatee, he set out to make his Cal experience his own.
When I was at Cal, I worked hard, and I made sure to play hard, too. And luckily, I was surrounded by some wonderful friends who shared a frivolous spirit and enjoyed life.
We first met Bob when he registered for Deutsch Hall, which is all male dorm then. Didn't join his father's fraternity, instead became a dormie with us, which was primarily 99% middle class students. And Bob was very sensitive to the fact that he wanted to fit in, but it was different. So for the first year, he wouldn't even wear Levi's.
The university was building Barrows Hall, and they had walled off huge sections all around it with a fence made of large sheets of plywood. I was an art student. They told art students they could sign up for panels, so I signed up for 4, and I decided that we should paint a big nude on them.
It became a bit of a campus sensation. The AP picked it up and publicized the picture all over the United States.
And Bob was part of that, and
what part was Bob?
the most important part.
That's good.
When Bob graduated Phi Beta Kappa in 1964, he was senior class valedictorian and chosen to speak at commencement. After Cal, Bob decided not to go into the family business, Levi Strauss & Company, and opted to blaze his own path. In the years that followed, Bob served in the Peace Corps in the Ivory Coast. He graduated from Harvard Business School, served as a White House Fellow, and worked as a management consultant. Along the way, he even journeyed to New Guinea with his friends and always took time to have fun.
So we posed by the plane on arrival in New Guinea with all of the children from the town, all holding a sign. And then we walked off the runway in a parade with all the kids chanting, "Go Cal, beat Stanford." Their 4 first words in English.
In 1973, after being approached by a company executive, Bob decided it was time to join Levi Strauss & Company. He became president and CEO in 1984. Not only was Bob a skilled businessman, he also grew Levi's tradition of responsible corporate citizenship.
In the early 1980s, when HIV and AIDS was beginning to ravage the gay community, a lot of our gay employees were frightened. They didn't know where to get information, they were afraid. But Bob and his senior managers decided to take this fear and turn it on its head and create a space for employees to not have this kind of fear. And it stood in the lobby and handed out literature about HIV and AIDS to everyone who walked into the building.
Corporate culture, I think, starts from the beliefs of those that run the company, what's important to them. And Bob, I think, was one of the key people, as his family, this notion of profits with principles. It's not only generating profits and an acceptable return to shareholders, but it's how you do it.
As the apparel industry globalized, Bob led Levi Strauss in establishing guidelines on working with external contractors and vendors around the world.
In 1991, our terms of engagement was formulated and went into policy. This was the first set of guidelines for contractors in the business.
Now, this was a very challenging piece of work because in the short term it did involve incremental cost. But if you sit back and look at what the outcome of that was, it set the standard for not only the apparel industry, but I think the footwear industry and many industries today.
And time after time, when issues came up that perhaps may have sold more jeans, would have given us, more positive publicity, Bob always came through in terms of walking his talk.
We've been doing this for over 150 years. One could argue this company set the precedent and how you should work with the communities in which we operate. And Bob not only drove that, he genuinely believes in that.
Our family's connection dates back to 1897 when my great-great-granduncle Levi Strauss donated scholarships for 28 students to Cal, and I feel honored to be part of that tradition.
To the Cal community, Bob is a champion for the university. He and his wife Colleen have supported Berkeley in so many ways, oftentimes behind the scenes laying the foundation for important initiatives. It's all part of a legacy that Bob carries on with great affection and enthusiastic spirit.
I think you could say that Bob is a Cal fan.
I would say that Bob has a completely unbalanced, irrational, illogical support of Cal.
We've been tailgating now for 39 years.
We go to every football game. We sit together, we yell and scream and have a great time.
Go Bears!
Not only is this a great award for Bob, he's a terrific family person as well. This isn't just about Bob, it never has been.
Everything who Bob is and what Bob has been for the last 30 some odd years is a family man. All three of them have been supportive of the university, the values that we talk about.
Human, humane, and humorous, always.
Bob, congratulations on being named Cal Alumnus of the Year.
You've kept the legacy going. Well done.
Hey, Lizard! Congratulations!
We had one last important question, and I'm sure you've been asked this before, but on the back of the Levi's jeans, why a red tab?
I've never been asked why the red tab before, but I suspect if it had been up to my dad and uncle at the time, it would have been a blue and gold tab.